Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Animal Wisdom Tarot by Don Brunk, illustrated by Ola Leola by CICO Books, and there's the website on the back over here, I think. So if you want to find that stuff, that's where you find that stuff. Supportive Oracle cards. The Halloween Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. This one also has a website. It's blueangelonline.com. It's down over here, I think. So if you want to find that information, there you go. I haven't been on these websites, but see if my brain remembers it when I have a minute. I'm curious what's on these websites now. Which is funny, because it's like I'm pointing them out, and I'm like, I don't even know what's on those websites. Alright, let's not get too excited until we get to that point. What's the deal? Something really good, but... Alright, let's see. This is why we wait until it comes out, because you got something really good. I think you're going to unearth something. Somebody else is going to end up having issues, and I feel like you're going to see it for what it is. Let's get there first. Starting off, you have the parrot, this beautiful blue parrot. It is the Seer of Feathers. So this makes me think this is more of the Page of Swords. Especially with that parrot energy where they repeat things, you know? And I feel like when I'm getting the repeat, I'm getting like things are repeating in your head. It's like all of a sudden, whatever you're dealing with, things just start popping up in your brain. Like, you know what? So-and-so said that about this. And you know what? That other person said something similar. And you know what? This other person is, lately, they seem to be acting a little funny. It's almost like that's actually what's happening. I'm starting to think all these things are coming together, and it's like, I thought I saw it, but I think I'm seeing it clearer now. It's almost like when somebody tells you a donut is very sugary. You're like, well, yeah, it's a donut. I know that. So you don't really think about it. But then when you start seeing more and more things about it, and you're starting to be like, you know, I do get a kind of like a little bit hyper when I have that thing. You're realizing, yeah, it's sugary, but it's like 10 times the sugar of a normal donut. And you're like, oh, wait, what? Like, well, it's filled with icing. Well, it is filled with icing now that I think of it. That's kind of interesting. And it's got icing on the top and a spot of jelly. And the dough is a bit, like sweet. More sweet than normal. And you're like, it is. It's like, wait a minute. It's like it's all of a sudden, like, clicking in your brain. Like, yeah, I knew it was sugary. Like, obviously, it's a donut. But now that I'm thinking about it, now that people are pointing it out so much, like, it's much more sugary than I would normally expect. And, like, I'm starting to see it. And it's starting to play on your head, like, yeah, like I knew that was true, but now I'm seeing like why people are saying it. Something you knew was true, but now you're like, oh, now I see why. Now I'm seeing to like what extent, like, wait a minute, that's a lot more deep than I thought it was. Four of Swords and the Ruler of the Open Heart, which is, I believe, the Strength card. It's like, I feel like people are waiting for you to realize that something needs to change, because they're like, even though you see it for what it is and you're repeating, yeah, I know that. I know it's a donut. It's sugary. I know that. It's fine. I know that. But they're waiting for you to really see why they think that's an issue. Like, they're like, no, it's more than it should be. You're like, no, it's a donut. It's supposed to be. Then it's like, wait a minute. Wait. Maybe this is excessive. It's kind of like you're finally getting it. But I think it's because it was true the whole time. But now it's like, you look at it differently, like, oh, wait, no, nobody needs that much sugar. No, I don't think that's right. And people have been waiting for you to see it. I think for a lot of you, I'm using the donut analogy, but I think it's about a person. And, like, people are like, well, you know, this person has that bad trait and this other bad trait. And you're like, yeah, I know that, but that's who they are. But as time is going on and all of a sudden you're realizing things and people keep saying this, you're realizing, oh, wait a minute, that's clearly a bad trait, but I didn't realize it was like that prevalent. Like, that's like really prevalent. Like if they're a liar or if they're violent, whatever it is. It's kind of, well, we're going with the liar one. Like they lie once in a while, but you're like, you kind of knew it before, but you're like, yeah, but they just like to shoot the shit. They like the bullshit. They go off of the mouth and they don't know what they're talking about. But now you're realizing it's like the truth coming out of their mouth is a rarity. You're like, wow, like they really do lie. Like you're like, oh, like people were telling me that, but now I'm realizing like them telling the truth is really rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? That because I feel like that's how this is coming in. I don't know if the donut analogy is really cutting it, so we'll go there with it. The thing is, you start really seeing it, and you have some energy coming in here. You got a lot of earth. It's not bad. None of it's bad. I don't think any of it's really bad. But I feel like something's coming in the sense of you've got the Nine of Pentacles, you've got the Hierophant, which is your card. The Bull is your card. You're really kind of like stepping back, soaking in what's going on, realizing, hey, I've been accepting something I don't need to. Like, I don't have to be like, that's okay. I don't have to just kind of work with it because I feel like I'm stuck with it. Maybe something needs to change here, because now that I'm really, really paying attention to something, I thought it was just something I could deal with, but I'm realizing other people are having a bigger problem with this. And maybe I shouldn't be accepting this. Maybe I should be changing how this is done. Somebody else is stepping in. Now this is very interesting to me. The goat is usually, it's the devil card in the normal tarot. That also talks about Capricorn. Capricorn is another earth sign. This is an earth sign you get along well with. Somebody else is really like going on about it. Like, yeah, we need to change this. We need to fix this. That person was never acceptable, and they never should have been acceptable. And you're like, all right, I know, all right, just let's see what we can do about it. Somebody else is on the same page as you, kind of like, this needs to leave. This needs to change. This is not acceptable, no longer. It is the devil card, not for nothing. Even though it's Capricorn, it's very strong. And I'm getting the Ace of Pentacles, the Moon card. They don't like the unpredictability of this. That's the thing. You got a lot of Earth here. Earth doesn't like unpredictability. Earth likes stability. Earth likes dependability. Like, we know what we're dealing with and we know where it's going. That's what Earth likes. And with the Moon card here, they're like, oh no, Moon card. We don't want any more mystery. We don't like what's going on here. We are seeing it clearer now. This isn't going to work. This other, the devil energy, this other person, they're really bent out of shape about this. Like, we could lose everything. If this person keeps playing around like they are, this whole situation could fail, and I didn't put my effort into this just to fail. I didn't put all my time into this just to throw it away. Very strong energy you're dealing with. And I feel like you're like, yes, I agree. Yes, I know. I feel like you're following it, and you're just kind of going along like, yes, I agree. We're not just doing things just to throw away our effort. Yes, I know. We're going to handle it. It's a very strong energy that I feel like they're coming forward like, we will fix this. And you're like, yes, I know. Like, it's really strong. You're also very strong. You can handle it. I get that. But it's kind of like, even though this is a cooperative energy with you, it's seeming like it's a bit overdone, but you seem to handle it. You're like, yeah, they're going to do that. Yeah, I understand. I think you're going to handle it a lot better than the energy feels to me, because to me it feels like it could get overwhelming. I feel like you're handling it quite well. Now, I get the scrying with the spirit of freedom. You're working with whoever this is to decide how to change this, because this is going to change. You realized it. This person is demanding it, but you agree with it. You realized it needed to happen. This other person's demanding it happens, but you agree, yes, it does need to happen. So, I don't really think they're convincing you. I feel like they're just like reinforcing something you already have to do. And you already knew this was coming forward. That's this, the scrying, like you kind of knew this was coming forward anyway. And how do we free ourselves from this is the Horse of Freedom here. Spirit of Freedom. We're going to keep going with that. I don't know. That's a weird... I'm trying to get into more of that, but literally we're letting it go is what I'm getting. The other person, whoever this is taking the reins. And I think that's why I'm feeling this horse of freedom, because it feels like that wild horse energy. It's a Pegasus? I think it's a Pegasus technically. But it's that, like, it's going to take off and it's going to go where it wants to go. The Ace of Swords shows up with this goat energy. Once the decision's been made, they just can't wait to get out there and make it happen. And they're going to go forward and make it happen. I'm getting also the Seer of Fossils, kind of like once it's started, there's no turning back. Your energy is cooperative with this, though. You agree. You've already agreed that this has to happen. This is not acceptable. This needs to change. I just feel like you need to guide it. I don't feel like you need to lead it. I feel like it's better if you guide it instead of lead it. It just seems to go better. I feel like you can catch some of the missing pieces or some of the loose pieces you can catch and pull back into the center. You can keep it all together if you kind of like guide it and keep an eye on what's going on around the situation. So, oh, that's going off. Let me pull that back in. Oh, no, pull that back in. It's easier if you guide it instead of lead it, because then you could keep an eye on the total picture and make sure nothing really gets damaged as it's changing. I mean, I know Taurus is a leader energy, but you're leading by making sure it doesn't fall apart. Like, you're watching the fine line is what I'm getting. Knight of Branches is the the Seeker of Branches is the Knight of Fire. Knight of Wands. The change is coming in with the Mummy. I do get that pyramid feel here. Like, you know, things are getting re-solidified. Things are getting put back where they should have been. It's almost like they were hidden under the sand, like they were starting to get buried under the sand, and now it's kind of like, nope, we're going to unearth those again. We're going to put things back where they should be. We're going to make sure things go back to where they should have been to begin with. You've got the Seven of Cups with the Skull of Light. You're seeming to let this other person, the goat energy, move forward the way they want to. They took care of the problem. They made that change. You're watching what they want. You're also making sure that what you want to happen is coming forward too. The Seven of Cups is kind of like, there's a few things that need to be taken care of. And it's kind of like, you're watching to make sure they do get taken care of. If they don't, you're interjecting kind of like, all right, we got cup 1, 2, and 3. Where's cup 4? You're kind of like, no, we're not going to cup 5 yet. Do cup 4. You did 1, 2, and 3. Do cup 4. Don't be skipping to cup 5 yet. Do cup 4. So you might be kind of guiding in that way too. Like, no. We're not going 1, 2, 3, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do cup 4. And I feel like you might be kind of guiding again in that, especially with that Skull of Light. I feel like you're guiding in that way. You are co-creating with this. Are you co-creating or no, you're co-creating, right? There's a lead feel on your side. Like, I don't feel like you ever have a worry that this is getting out of your control, by the way. So it's kind of like when push comes to shove, I do feel like you have control. But I feel like guiding is making this a lot easier on the whole situation, because if you're able to guide, if you're in there leading, it just takes up a certain type of energy and it makes things more complicated. If you're able to guide instead of lead, you can pull back and like, okay, what are they doing? Okay, what's going over there? Did that get done right? Let me go over there and make sure that got done right. Because I feel like you're kind of like quality control in a way, and you're guiding in that sense. The Witch here is a very good energy. You're helping the whole situation go back on point. This Go energy is a very complementary energy for you anyway. You're agreeing on the direction. You already know where that person's going, and they're not going to veer off of it. That's just not who they are. It's going forward. Now, there's a very good outcome coming here. Like, this is very interesting. The outward energy is kind of like, it just seems like it's a little bit chaotic at times. It does seem a little chaotic at times. And it may make you very nervous. Like, why is this getting weird? Why is this getting a little bit antsy? Why are people getting upset? Every now and then it just seems like it's a little unstable. And there's people going through growing pains. Like, oh my God, they got rid of so-and-so. Are they going to get rid of me? Like, people are like questioning the changes. They seem to be very thrown off by the changes. The underworld here is kind of like the goat made sure that happened. The goat said, nope, this is done. That's unacceptable. That's out. What was that about, bud? So people are nervous about that. They're like, what other unexpected changes are going on here? It's kind of like my cat rolling out of that chair, which he must have been asleep. But but it still works out well. Like my cat, he's fine. It makes you nervous. It makes you wonder, like, why are people questioning so many things? People don't like that things have changed. There is a little bit of discord here. But the bottom part, what it's all built on is the Ten of Cups. Everybody is very happy to still be a part of it. It just seems like they're not understanding why something changed. Almost like they feel like that's way out of your character. The thing is, it's not way out of your character when something is really bad and needs to be removed. If it's causing the situation to sink, like if you have a big boat, a big ship, if you will, and you have one situation, you have something that weighs way too much and it's causing the ship to go down and it could sink the ship, you will dump that to keep the ship afloat, because if the ship sinks, we lose everything. So if you have to dump something of considerable size to keep the ship afloat and to keep it going on its journey and making it successful, you will dump that without thinking too much about it. Like, no, we got to get rid of it before it brings us down. That might shock people, like, oh my God, you got rid of all that stuff. How could you do that? That's not normal for you, Taurus. Why would you do that? Because it would have brought us all down. And you will get rid of something quickly if you think it's going to tank the whole situation. Before we lose everything, I'd rather lose this one piece before we lose everything. Because if we lose everything, what does it matter? We might as well get rid of this one piece. And that's what you did. And it seems like other people are nervous about that. Like, wait, to them it seems like you're making random decisions. That is not at all what's happening. But when all is said and done, they know they can trust you, and that's another thing. And there's a lot going on here, because there's a lot of questions, and there's a lot of weird energy going back and forth. It's going to take some time to get back to this Ten of Cups energy, but it will get back there. Do what you do best, weather the situation. The storm will pass sooner or later, and when it does pass, you'll enjoy your beautiful day again. And the energy just... it's good. That's it. All right. I keep hearing that. Done. Let it go. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.